Habari ma Africa, mimi ni King, nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Asante kwa kutanzama King Said So. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want us to speak about this controversial analyst, author, Prince Mashele, who was at the Dr. Susan Mpofu Welsh podcast, and the things that he said there, I mean, it's crazy. I want to break down that interview, and I want to speak about the EFF and speak about the MK. But in this video, let's concentrate on what he said about the EFF, specifically about the Julius Malema. Well, some of the things that he said in that interview is that the original core of the EFF has broken down. So that means that the death of the EFF is inevitable. It's coming. He made examples about the ANC when the top leaders were starting to fight each other. The beginning of the end, we started seeing it. He made an example about COPE and many other political parties. And I want to entertain Prince for the first time because I've been listening to him and I've been thinking, hey, this guy, what is he saying? But there's something that he touched there about the EFF that touched a nerve on me also. So I want us to discuss that. Is the EFF dying? Is there a strategy to resuscitate the EFF to the old EFF that we know? I want us to discuss that and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
The rest is history. Now, look at where they are. Julius fancies himself a political strategist. I've heard him and say, I'm a good strategist and all of that. It's nonsense. The chap is ignorant of political strategy. Let me tell you, when you form a political party and you want this political party to have longevity and eventually to capture power, and you want this political party to cohere, never allow the original core that formed it to disintegrate. Julius doesn't know this rule. He has allowed the original core that formed the EFF to disintegrate. Once that happens, you must know the party is finished. This element, by the way, you go to other political parties, even in the ANC, obviously, those who formed the ANC in 1912 are no more. But those who have been guardians of the party, at some point, the older generation fell apart, right? From 2007, that all fell apart and then all things scattered in different directions. You can go look at all these organizations and apply this principle. You will see. COPE, same story. Those who formed it originally disintegrated, and what happened to the party? History. The EFF is history because this basic principle, Julius is not aware of it. Yeah. Fact that Floyd is gone, Moiseni is exiting, your father, Dali, is gone. Let me tell you, Julius Malema will remain holding feathers. The bird has long flown away. He doesn't understand that. So those who think that the EFF has a future, they don't understand political strategy. They're just dreaming. And what I know is that if I'm still alive, they will come back and say you were correct.
Sure. That's
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane Zinjiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one, and we are going back to the Dr. Susan Mpofu Welsh SMWX podcast. Hey, Zakhala Bule podcast layo. Hey, Zakhala, I'm telling you, you will know why I'm saying that very soon. But Prince was there, you know, attacking every political party on site. Every political party. So I'll be doing a video about what he said there and, break down what he said about the MK, break down what he said about the EFF. But in respect of the two political parties, I'll make two separate videos so that I don't confuse you guys and then make these long videos that I usually do, because I love breaking down and analyzing what these people are saying about these political parties. And I also want to maybe speak about what Julius Malema said to JJ Tabane on Buisane Ndlozi. I'm sure you guys have been seeing the interview is out now. You can see how Julius feels about Ndlozi, and I predicted that Ndlozi will be leaving the EFF very soon. In fact, I said he's not going to finish, January in the EFF colors. That's what I predicted, because Julius said he never spoke to him before the MPA, and Julius says he never spoke to him after the MPA, which is very interesting that this man resigned when he was there in Dubai, spending some quality time with his beautiful wife. So let's get into what Prince actually said. Perfect. Like I said in the beginning of the video, Prince is very controversial. For me, he's one of those analysts that I consider as puppets of white monopoly, capitalists, and white media that wants to make white media happy by attacking black parties and absolutely providing no solution from how black parties should come out of this ditch. It's people that have given up on black unity. That's how I view him. I'm not sure how you view him. Maybe you will correct me, because I don't know him that well. But for the little videos that I've seen, he's a person that, as people who want black unity, is people like that we must keep away. That's just my opinion anyway. But I hope, in all of the things that he's saying, there's some good in his heart. Now, what Prince said about, as a political party, you must never allow the core to dismantle, to break. What is this core that we are talking about when it comes to, in relation to the economic freedom fighters? Is the founders of the economic freedom fighters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, me and you, whether we like Prince or not, there is a point that he's making there. You cannot allow the core, the founding members, to all leave so that you can remain alone. And I know Julius is not the only founding member that is left. I think Umpile Maute was there from the beginning. I'm sure Godrich Gadi was also there from the beginning. Who else? I think those are the only two people that are in the leadership right now that were there in the beginning. So abo Andile Ngetama, Dalimpofu, Floyd Shivambo, Mbuyisane Ndlozi is going to go, obviously. Who else are we missing? Many of them have left. So the EFF is no longer that EFF that started in 2014. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying. So there is an element of concern when you hear that statement from Prince, to say, what if what he's saying is actually true, that the EFF has lost its core and the downfall is coming. I was watching the interview with JJ Tabane and what the CIC is saying. The CIC contributes the drop of the EFF only to KwaZulu-Natal. They say, we only lost to KwaZulu-Natal. We only suffered because of what the MK party has done. But also, that must be followed as to what happened after the elections. That must also that's something that the CIC and the EFF need to look at carefully, so that they can understand that there is a little bit of a crisis in terms of loss of membership, loss of confidence, and all of those things are very important to address in the EFF. So what for me is like, what the EFF has been doing from 2014 to 2029 is something that they must go back to. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying. The loud EFF and the loud approach, the radical approach on situations, is the EFF that must come back right now. We don't need an EFF that is going to come and become diplomatic. We don't need an EFF that is going to forget its DNA, which is youth and radicalness and pushing. When the CIC accepted the election results, and he did point out that there is some discrepancies and all of that, but they are not material for him to make noise about. So he largely accepted the results. I was disappointed, but the thing that made me more disappointed in what the CIC said was that the EFF is now going to start calculating who they save in the community. Meaning, if there is a racism in a particular ward, and that ward did not vote for the EFF will say, but go to the people that you voted for. In other words, the EFF was saying, you South Africans, you must stop using us like condoms when it suits you. And after you have used us, you discard us as you please. Some people said they understand what the CIC said, and I said, no, keep to what you were doing. It's a principal matter. It's not you voted for me, so I will fight for you in a racist incident in a school. It's an EFF thing. We have known EFF for going to cliques and closing cliques. The EFF must go back to that, So I think the new emerging leaders of the EFF, who are going to take Abo Sihlo Lonzi and all of those who are taking over the EFF, because Abo Tambo, all of those guys, the new guys, those guys must treat the EFF as if it's a patient in ICU. I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying. They must treat the EFF as if it's a patient on ICU, and it needs to be treated with the highest respect of medical care. If you understand what I'm saying. If they don't, because from now until 2029, the EFF has to rebrand itself to the community of South Africa for it to grow. Remember, the EFF needs about 70,000 more people to grow a percentage. 100,000 more people. 200,000 more people. The EFF has to rebrand itself. And I think Julius Malema would be very clever if he said, listen, I'm bringing this new flock of leaders. I'm going to rebrand the EFF and bring this new radicalness into the community, and these guys are going to take over. Here's your role, students. Here's your role, working class. Here's your role, the older people. All of those things. Rebrand the EFF so that the EFF can be more appealing as a solution and alternative from the MK, from the ANC. That is very important for the EFF to do. They need to sit down and not only talk the talk, but also do the working of rebranding itself. It's very important. Everything cannot be circled around Julius Malema. Yes, it must come back, and obviously him as the leader, he must carry the EFF, but it will be very advisable for him to share some load or some weight into his fellow comrades, because if he does not do that, he's going to be worn out physically, mentally, health wise. It's not going to be good for Julius Malema to carry this thing, because you remember Julius Malema is now operating at a state where trust and loyalty is number one. So when trust and loyalty is number one, sometimes it does not come with numbers, because you scatter and push people away because of lack of trust. So you lose numbers also, because you're looking at this one as if it's just coming here to this political party to what does he want to gain? What does he say? Why is this one not reporting things to me? All of those things, those trust issues might lead to the EFF not growing properly. Somebody go in the comment section and tell me if I'm talking nonsense or what. So the EFF must go back to the attacking of the ANC, attacking of the Democratic Alliance, and now even the attacking of the MK political party. It's not something that I will advise to that they must do, because we want black unity. But for the growth of the economic freedom fighters, the political environment is set up so much that we black people must fight each other in order to please the white masters. So when the EFF fights the MK, you will see the media will start promoting EFF, and start pushing down the MK political party, because now they've seen that the MK political party is a bigger threat than the EFF. And somebody go on the comment section and tell me if I'm right or wrong. So if the EFF wants to grow, EFF wants to do something, they have to go back, like I said, to that EFF, that Praise Guap, attacking the ANC. The ANC is a wicked animal, wounded animal right now. I see the ANC currently right now as under 30%. I will not be surprised with ANC being under 30%. And the nice thing about the ANC losing power is that that power does not go to the Democratic Alliance. When the ANC lose power, that power will probably go to the smaller black parties like the MK political party, the EFF, and the rest. Those numbers will not translate positively on the chart of the Democratic Alliance. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing that can stop the EFF from growing to the point where I'm saying it needs to rebrand, I'm saying Julius needs to do this. The only thing that can stop the stand in the way of the EFF actually going out there and doing excellent for itself, I'm afraid, is Julius Malema. Julius Malema is the greatest thing that happened to the EFF, but he can be also the worst thing that happened to the EFF. I strongly believe on that statement, and it's unfortunate that I believe that, because in his speech after the NPA, when he gave his speech, when he cried, there's something that he said there that I want you guys to take note of. He said the greatest honor that the EFF can bestow on him is when he dies, to wrap his casket into with the flag of the EFF. And when he said that, I knew that there will never be a match between the EFF and the MK political party. I knew. I just said that statement alone. He said he was willing to die in the EFF. Now my concern was that, okay, fine, you are willing to die in the EFF, but don't be the reason why the EFF dies also. I'm not sure if I can phrase that a little bit better so that you guys can get it. Julius Malema can be willing to die in the EFF. It's a good thing. But let him not be the reason also that the EFF dies with him. You understand what I'm saying? So I've always constantly said, in South Africa, unfortunately, is the politics of personalities. People follow personalities. They can say whatever they want. You will see how they're going to start changing when there's no longer Julius Malema in the EFF. You will see. You will just see. And the reason why that core is so important, because if Floyd took over, it was not going to be a problem. If Darlin Pofu took over, if Andile Ntama, if he was still there, if Dr. Mbuyisani Ndlozi took over, it was not going to be a problem. The problem is now, who does he trust to take over from his legacy? To protect his legacy, because remember, Julius is never going to be out of the EFF. He's going to be leading there, just like Helen Ziller is still leading, not being part of the everyday operation, but being part as the federal leader of the economic freedom fighters. That's where I see the economic freedom fighters' future going. And I wish that when the time comes, he does not hand over the ranks when the EFF is like on its last breath on ICU, and giving it to someone in the hopes of that person bringing the EFF back to life, because it's going to be difficult for whoever. In the current leadership right now, I don't see who that person can be. You guys can correct me on the comment section. Who do you think will be the president of the EFF after Julius Malema? It's quite premature to be thinking of that right now. But when you do politics of forecasting and you are predicting the future, unfortunately, those are the type of things that you should be talking about, because a political party that does not think that far is as good as dead. So if you are saying Godrich Kadri is going to be that person, then start preparing the fighters on understanding the character of Godrich Kadri going forward. Because remember, Godrich Kadri for me was forced down the throat of the fighters. And the fighters can deny that as much as they want. But once that tweet was retweeted by Julius Malema, it was as good as done that Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is not going to be the deputy president like most people wanted him to be, and Godrich Kadri was going to be the one, because the CIC trusts Godrich Kadri. That's something that I wanted to just bring forward for you guys, and reminding you guys of the gala dinner that the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture will be hosting on the 2nd of May. I'm hoping to close one big guest speaker for you guys, so that you guys can enjoy your time there in the Pan-African School. And another thing that I want to speak, especially related to the Pan-African School, is that if what Prince is saying about the EFF is true, where does it put us who have voted for the EFF? Where is our hope? And I'll continuously remind you guys, don't put all your all your eggs in one basket, excuse me. We as the community need to stand up. We cannot be fully dependent on government. We cannot be fully dependent on our political parties. We need to stand up and do something, so that if plan A and plan B fails, at least our children will be able to fall on plan C. And plan C is us as a community coming together and building institutions that can outlive us. Just like the African people are doing with the Solidarity Movement, with AfriForum, with Orania and all of those things. Tina bantu abamnyama, if you look carefully in terms of developing our community, we are fully dependent on government. We are fully dependent on politicians. It's very dangerous, Mtomnyama. And I'm not saying that so that you can support Paseta. I'm saying that so that you can start something even in your community that can revive and make your community a better place, unlike depending on government. As for us here on this channel, we want to build a school. That's something that we want to do. We want to build an African independent school that is going to change the lives of our children. And we are saying we're going to build it by African money for African children. We are not going to take any funding outside the African children. So what are we saying? We are saying we need 10,000 members of the African family to each donate 50 rand. Need 50 rand to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you are able to donate a 50 rand. So each and every month when you donate the 50 rand, we are able to do something on the land. We have founded the land. We have started building, and we want to make that when this year closes, something must be standing on that land that is going to shock people and say, wow, this is an example of what could happen if black people stick together. So I would like to appreciate each and every one of you that have contributed to the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, especially in January. You guys are donating each and every day in January. I want to thank you guys for having that heart for Paseta. I really appreciate it. For the gala dinner, if you want to book, please go on www.paseta.co.za and make sure that you fill your details there. You click the 3 dots on the side and you choose gala dinner, populate your details there, and you can purchase your ticket right there from our website, and then we will be able to send you your ticket. Thank you so much for everyone that has already purchased the ticket. The tickets are going fast, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to make sure that you secure your space to the gala dinner. Come to Kimberley. Let us enjoy our time together. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.